We need to focus on stringent protections of our air and water, support for our environment, and we need to be serious once and for all about supporting our local economy.
I think that it is time that New Mexico's legislature started to run our state government the way you and I run our households, taking care of the important things first and living within our means. Throwing more money at the schools and continuing existing policies is not the answer. As I've outlined on my website, Florida has instituted over the last 12 years or so a comprehensive series of reforms that have had dramatic results. Florida and New Mexico started out at about the same place in terms of reading and math scores in 1998. New Mexico has stayed pretty much the same, and Florida's scores have shot up.
Now, you don't want to go around the state of New Mexico building a whole bunch of new schools. There's a model called schools within a school. It's been a tremendous success in Baltimore and other big cities. You can bring that success here. Take Santa Fe High, you put 4 schools in it. You save on administrative costs, and you have 4 curriculum tracks. One can be a college prep, one can be a vocational technology track. In New Mexico, especially northern New Mexico, Santa Fe, you have an arts track with an emphasis on film and visual arts. I had a bill in the last session that was aimed straight at one of the biggest things we've been hearing about, which is pay play. It was a bill that passed both chambers of the House and said that if you want to have a state contract, you may not give money to the governor or to an elected official overseeing that contract during the bidding process, during the term of that contract, and for 2 years after that contract ends. That would have ended pay play completely. Passed both chambers, and it died in the last few hours of the session on the 30th day. I'm going to be coming back with that bill in the next session if I'm sent back by you.
I have heard it proposed that the solution to the ethics problem is a new commission on ethics. This strikes me as a little odd because the problem is corrupt politicians and corrupt bureaucrats. And another ethics commission would essentially be politicians appointing more bureaucrats to watch over politicians and bureaucrats. How's that going to work? No, I would not support that tax, which my opponent introduced, because Santa Fe is a tourist town. A lot of our economy is a tourist economy, restaurants, bars. We are in an economic downturn. This is not the time to impose a tax that is going to hurt the tourist businesses in Santa Fe, some of whom are barely making a profit as it is.
If you don't want to pay the tax, then don't buy the margarita. And the tourist argument was made in the last legislative session that people are going to stop vacationing in Santa Fe because of our liquor rates. And I've said it once in the paper, I'll say it again tonight, but what kind of degenerate looks at the liquor tax rate before they decide to go on vacation? You can't say that, nobody says, okay, I'm going to go to Arizona and not New Mexico, because New Mexico's liquor tax is a quarter higher than Arizona. It doesn't happen. Move all of the state's cash reserves out of Wells Fargo and Bank of America and into community banks and credit unions based right here at home. What that does is it improves the deposit to loan ratios so these banks can resume small business lending so the small businesses can hire, buy equipment, and get our economy moving again. It could be a $5 billion stimulus to the economy, again, without costing the state a single penny.
The government does not create jobs. The private sector economy creates jobs. The only jobs government creates are government jobs, which are funded by taxing the private economy. The way to create jobs in New Mexico is to streamline regulation, to keep government spending under control, to create a robust private sector economy. The problem is with repeat offenders. People who are convicted 3 or more times should be getting long prison sentences, period, because they've shown contempt for our laws. They have shown that they are not willing, they have no respect for the rights of their fellow citizens, and they should not be out on the streets because they cannot be trusted not to drink and drive.
I had a bill that says if you have an ignition interlock in your car, you're prohibited from purchasing alcohol. That happened after I saw somebody walk out of the Giant in St. Francis, mix a Jack and Coke, get in their car, start the ignition interlock, and then drive off with the Jack and Coke in their cup holder. So we need to look at restricting people that have interlocks from purchasing alcohol, because as Mrs. Russell just said, they're shown that they can't control themselves. The legislature actually had an interesting meeting last week that I heard from the Border Patrol, and interdictions and arrests are down 90% from where they were just 4 years ago. So it's interesting to hear a lot of us talk about the problem now when there's only 10% of the arrests that were just a few years ago. It raises in me questions about what we're really talking about. Are we talking about a problem, or are we talking about people's concerns and scapegoating?
Drugs come here from Mexico because of our demand for them. Illegal immigrants come here from Mexico because of our demand for cheap, unskilled labor. We need to look at the economics of this. Are there ways to make it more, to facilitate these businesses to hire American citizens and legal residents through revising our regulatory and tax policies?